Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. VXM. We're going to do something a little different this time. We're not fixing the frame on the Toyota. We're going to lower it. Another one's coming tomorrow to fix the frame. But So we're going to lower this car down. I figured out, I'll just show you what we do to lower it down. So I took a measurement. So my buddy wants it lower. Okay, it's two-wheel drive, Toyota Tacoma, 2016, I believe it is. But they're pretty much all the same to do. So I'm going to show you the cheap way to get your truck lowered. All right, so we measured it. We're just going to make sure. So we're dropping this one 2 inches all the way around.
Put 700 pounds in the back of the bed.
Yeah,
no.
yeah, right. All right, so I marked this so we have a reference for later. So 33 right in the center, 33 from here, and then 31 3/4 in the front. All right, so let me show you what we're doing. It's cold out here. Winter is upon us. Anyway, so this is the kit we bought. Go on Amazon, whatever, they're pretty cheap. So basically it's a 2-inch block, and they give you the longer U-bolts. That's all you need for the rear. And we'll show you what to do with that. Okay? The front.
We're going to do old school.
Old school. I'll show you what that is when we do it.
We did this to my race car.
All right, so first thing you want to make sure when you order these, right, you got to measure the rear housing, right, to make sure it's the right size, right, 3-inch, like that. So this is the right one. We made sure of that before. And this block is as wide as your
Leaf spring.
leaf springs, okay?
And block.
So the idea is you put the block in between. This is going to raise the rear up, which lowers the truck down.
Right.
Okay, so you got 4 bolts under here. 4 nuts for these U-bolts. We're going to take those 3 off. You don't have to change the shock. You don't have to change nothing.
Yep.
The front's another story, but I'll show you that when we get to it. So I'm going to take those 4 bolts off on this, nuts on this side, 4 nuts off on that side.
Hold it up and hold the rear up.
Yeah,
you know.
the rear stays. It don't move because it's laying on the spring, so we don't have to worry about nothing moving. Nothing's going to move out of the way. The brake lines, you have to mess with nothing.
I'm just gonna
Everything stays.
the rear
you're just going to separate this. That's all you're going to do.
All right.
All right, give me a minute and we'll break that loose and start doing that. That's it. You're just gonna separate the springs from that. Same thing on this side.
Want a hammer?
So far, so good. And then what all you're doing is you're lifting this up over and putting the block in between.
Okay. You get the red jack, or you can set it down on a jack stand like what we're gonna do.
I'm gonna lift it. You're gonna stick the block in there. So put the camera down for a minute.
Well, whatever. Watch. I mean, if you're one person, I'll set the camera up on something, but. You could set a jack stand under here.
Yeah, you're just going to lift this up like that.
Yeah.
And put the block under it.
Or get your buddy over here to do it, you know.
Yeah, I want to blow all that off anyway, so let me get the blower and clean all that. So.
Okay, you guys get the idea of that. Let me help him with that real quick. Well, all right. Show you what we're going to do on the box. So see how that's sticking up? The little nub sticking off of the block is actually too tall. So it's not sitting flush. Tell him, Dad.
What?
Tell him. Bolt on, right?
Everything's bolt on.
Bolt on.
It's bolt on, but you got to own a machine shop.
Yeah.
All right, so this is taller. This little stud is taller than the original one. So the original one goes in the bottom, no problem. So we're just going to nip that off real quick.
So get the Sawzall, cut it off.
And like these are universal, so it's not like, oh, it's specific to that.
Nah, yeah.
So, all right. I'm just going to cut that off, and then we'll go get the other one off. And then cut that one down. Just make it...
Just a little bit. Let me go get the other one off. So now you can see how it sits flush on there and everything. He's cutting the other one right now. Let's put the other side in.
So now they sit nice and flat, see? And I'm gonna put the U-bolts, the longer U-bolts in it. And these come with locking nuts. And we're just gonna use, actually, let's see if they're the same. So we're gonna use these washers. So these are gonna go on like that.
Hey, yep.
Like that.
You could actually even put longer ones with these U-bolts, but
What's that? Yeah.
you want to cut the extra off?
Believe it or not, no.
Alright.
Believe it or not, it don't sound like a lot. Like, oh, it's only 2 inches drop, but it don't sound.
It's a lot.
It'll be a lot when you're done with it. All right, we put washers. I'll leave them long just in case.
Yeah, you can always put more of a spacing under it.
If they don't sit too low, then or I could just nip them off with them.
Right, after you put the bolts. So after we
After it's
tighten
all
it, we
tight.
just cut them off. Alright. Alright, these are actually, so... Hold on a sec. So they're too long, so it actually touches the bottom of the socket, so I'm gonna cut them off anyway. Alright, got this side cut. That one's all tight. I'm finishing up the other side. And we'll tighten that one up. Okay. Alright. Put the tires back on it.
Goes back on.
Put
So
the
you
back.
pretty much do this. Anything that's got a leaf spring, you could do this with. If it had coil springs, you can either cut the coil, or do what we're gonna do to the front. We'll show you that. But, all right, so we're gonna put the wheels back on. We're gonna lower it, and then we'll see. Make sure there's no interference, because you want to make sure nothing's gonna hit anything. Obviously, right? Like all this will clear. You want to make sure the dry shaft is gonna clear. That's why you can't lower it too much, because then you know you gotta check your clearances too. So we're gonna let it down, check the clearances on that, and it should be good. All right, we're gonna let it down. Check it out. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, I'm gonna measure that. Jump on this a little bit. All right. Where's that tape measure? Right down the center, right here. Yep.
So to the bottom now is 31 and 31 and a half. Okay. Do the front.
That lowered that. You can see it now. Now it sits higher in the front.
Now
It sits higher in the front than the back. And then once we lower the front, the back will actually drop down even more once you lower the front.
Yep.
So it, you know, it kind of counterlevers itself. But
okay.
all right.
So
That's that. With that, let's do the front.
okay, so front tires are gonna come off. We're gonna put 2 jack stands underneath the arms. We'll let it down onto the jack stands.
Measure it again.
Yep, measure it and see what it is. Make sure we're dropping it enough and don't go too much. Okay, and then we're gonna break out the acetylene torch. And heat the coil over spring and not, you know, melt the strut either. You gotta be careful with it.
Just gonna heat it right here like this.
Yep.
On this big one, and then it'll
And
drop right
it'll
down.
compress. We did this on my on the race car spring. I've done this a lot, but Dad's done it many times.
Called the low rider.
All right, let's get these set up so we can lower it. Put it on the arm.
Yep. All right, so the front is on stands, right? It's off the lift, and we're gonna jack the back of the truck up so that it has weight on the front before we mess with it. So once he locks that in, so where we know we're sitting, then we'll take another measurement here. Let me know when you got it. Go ahead. And you can see the front. Okay. As he jacks that up, you can actually see this side wants to move, so we're good. That's it. A couple more pumps. Perfect. Right there, that's good.
Okay.
All right, grab a piece of cardboard. Let me look under there real quick and make sure nothing's touching the dry shaft now that everything's up in the air. Should be all good.
All right, well, big torch is out of oxygen, but that's all right.
These work. This works.
It'll work. So, we started out at like a little over 16. We started out at like 17 and a quarter to that. No, almost 17 and 5/8 to that. So now we're getting there. 16 is where we want to go to. There we go. You gotta make sure when it starts getting close, you gotta take the heat off of it or else it'll just keep going. If it's cherry red, and then it's just gonna... It'll shrink down a little more than that.
It'll go down. Because now we gotta go do the other side, so.
Yeah.
So you're at 16.
16 and a half to the center.
Yeah.
Little less.
Yeah, it's still going. Okay, let's
Put a little pressure on it even and
No, just go do the other side and let it do it on its own, nice and easy. Come on. I need another piece of aluminum so I can put it behind there.
Yeah, let me get another heavy. Well, you could. Will this fit back in there? Like,
No.
no. All right, let me get another small.
Get another small piece.
And I'll get you a glove. All right. So that's the basic idea. Heat up one of the springs, and then watch it. You gotta let it drop after it starts getting real hot, but don't go too much. Huh?
And watch it shrink.
Yeah, and watch it shrink. You can watch it right on the tape measure and move.
Yep. Okay, let's go.
Okay. We're just letting them cool down so we don't stretch them back out or nothing when we lift it up. So
we'll let them cool down on their own. We measured them. They're both the same right now. So we'll give it about 5 or 10 minutes. Then we'll put the wheels back on. Raise it up, put the wheels back on, let it back down, and then measure it back to the original measurements that we took.
okay.
All right. Let her down. Oh, yeah, look at that. Boink. Perfect.
All right.
Heck yeah. All right.
Yeah. Actually, looks good.
So now we just got to check the wheel alignment, make sure everything's still straight. Good to go. Let's get a measurement.
I like ride. Yep, go take it for a ride. Make sure everything's good on it. Alright, go take it for a ride. Make sure everything's good. You can definitely see it was lower than before now, so.
Right. Set up the tables and I'll do the wheel alignment when we come back.
Alright.
So, drove it down the street, make sure it all settled down and whatnot. And we're gonna bring it inside, check the wheel alignment on it, and you're done. So, most likely, it don't even have to get touched. It tracked nice and straight, but we're just gonna make sure anyway, we don't wanna chop the tires up. So, I don't recommend you doing that, but that's the way this one got done. We've done a lot of them like that. Different cars, Mustangs, old Falcons, Mustangs, anything, Camaros, like older, anything that got a coil spring in it, you could do that too. Or kind of a strut in it. So you just got to watch out you don't go too much. No vibration, no nothing, we're good to go. All right, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.